Hello everyone, it's Joe here, and I want to talk to you about something that if you know me at all, you know that I'm extremely passionate about, which is education, but more specifically educators. So we live in an era where everyone can teach. At least anyone has the platform to offer educational content of sorts. Now, the problem with that is, of course, that not everyone can effectively teach. I mean, they can learn to, but they don't want to because they're seeing education as a way to actually just tell people what to think and how to think. Now, here's the problem with that. Back in the day, and by that I mean ancient Greece, okay, there was this idea of the Master Dixit approach to education. What does that mean? It means that students would go into a class, imagine perhaps, primary school, and the teacher would merely deposit information into their empty vessels. Now, during that time, there was a transition where the Greeks understood that that's a moronic approach to education, and more importantly, that there's a better way to do it, which is to ask questions. Socrates was big on this. In fact, right behind me, Aristotle, Plato, you've got Socrates, and Darwin. I have these four gentlemen behind me because they remind me of always asking questions, always documenting thoughts and ideas, always questioning the status quo, and never being scared of just breaking ground and ignore the naysayers, I guess. But the other element here is that a lot of these educators, they don't really know either how to ask questions, or they actually don't want those questions to be asked at all. So a lot of these new age educators are sort of using the title of educator to employ this Master Dixit approach. They self-proclaim educators, and then they basically just put the information out there, and there is no questioning it because they make what is also known as a recourse to authority. So they put themselves above you, and then you feel trapped in there. Now, obviously, this is a way to hide their own blind spots, and that's what I fight for as an educator, and I have done so for well over a decade. Something that you guys might not know, but I'm training as an educational psychologist at the moment because I want to double down on the required skills to support, but also educate educators. Right? That's something that I enjoy doing. I do feel like it's my current passion, which might change in the future, which is also fine, by the way. You can change passions. Don't get married to your ideas. Always assume that you might be wrong. Always assume that the person talking to you might be right. Always assume that there are questions that you don't know the answers to, and the only way you can actually get there is by asking them and being willing to hearing the answer and being willing to go like, you know what, I never thought about that, and I'm going to give it a go. And one thing that I've talked about many times before, if you've watched my videos, is that you should run the experiment. I always start from the premise that I'm wrong, right? I've written about this so many times. There was an article I wrote a while back called "I'm Wrong, Thank Goodness." I'm okay with being wrong. I run the scientific method. I'm gonna try to debunk myself. Just yesterday, I was attending a lecture for my educational psychology course, and the topic was on neoliberalism, which I'm mostly a fan of. Politically, I would say a libertarian. And then as the lecturer was asking, okay, well, what do you guys think are the benefits to this political system? What are the problems? I decided to take on the role of like, look, I actually do believe in neoliberalism, but we are in the context of education, so what I'm going to exercise is I'm going to try to find the problems with it. And that's what I would advise all of you to do with all of your beliefs. Don't get married to your stuff. It gets boring. and it gets calcified. And before you know it, you're at war with your own ego. Having said that, I do urge you to reflect on how you carry yourselves as educators. We are all teachers in one way or another. If you're a parent, you're a teacher. If you're a friend, you're a teacher. If you're a teacher, make sure that you take those roles with respect. You don't take them for granted. Don't take the people who listen to you for granted. Focus on what they need, but not just on what you think they need to listen to or to hear from you. Question your own opinions on what they're saying, and partake in a joint journey for you and for them. That's what I try to do every time with my students. I try to listen to every word carefully. I push minimal agendas. Many times I fail. And that's fine, because I'm learning and I'm growing, just like you, just like your friends, just like your parents. No one's perfect, and we're all just trying to work this out. Take care. Bye-bye.